So, the Love is Blind reunion happened last night, and it was interesting. Do you have any overall or general thoughts on the season as a whole? How did the cast do?
They could have kept the season, shelved it. Cutting room floor. That whole season. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I would say the connections didn't seem as genuine as the earlier seasons. This one was kind of just a step to build a social media career. That's how I felt about it. But that's not to take away from the couples that did get married. You know, maybe they did find love, but it just seemed very. I guess the concept is hard because you don't really talk about finances, you don't really talk about lifestyle, you don't really talk about the things that annoys you. It's just you talk about like the good things about yourself. So I think that makes it difficult to actually find somebody genuine because you're not finding them in your normal environment. You're finding them in an environment with the intent to get to know them. You know, you're not distracted with work, you're not distracted with coworkers, you're not distracted with friends or family or, you know, just every day going, you know, living. You're not distracted with that. It's just purely to get to know somebody. So I think you can really connect on a deep level that way. But once reality sets in, that's what actually deters it. So I think a lot of that ran rampant through this season. But getting into it, the first couple that the first couple that talked that we saw was Taylor and Garrett. So I can't remember which question is mine. So how long do you see them lasting with their chemistry?
I'm pretty sure that was your question.
Oh.
Excuse me, goodness. They should last. If everything that they showed us on the show is true and magnified in reality, as in like it's cute to look at it from the outside and being in it, they're really like for each other, that they should last forever.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. I see them going upward and onward, being one of those Love is Blind returning like Bliss and I forgot the other guy's name, but returning like them. So I definitely see them being a part of the Love is Blind future. If they ended up doing a spinoff where they follow, you know, the couples in their first year, second year of marriage or something like that. Okay. So the second question was, did they grow past that misunderstanding? And yes, I think if we see them together, then that would definitely indeed mean that they grew past it. Or at least able to put it to bed so where it doesn't need to be brought up anymore.
Yeah, hopefully based on Taylor's silence while everyone else was being catty and immature. Hopefully in that regard, she has actually used the year to heal or improve or build more trust in Garrett so that, you know, it's not a big deal when he responds to someone's DM explaining that he is happily with someone and to stop contacting him. Hopefully that's accepted as a proper form of, you know, handling that in the future. Because I'm sure they're both going to get a lot of DMs and stuff. So, you know, in that year, I guess for the couples it's a little easier because you're actually found your person and you get to just build life together at that point rather than the single people who have been, you know, reading all the DMs and comments and just kind of getting worked up and yada yada. So, yeah, hopefully they both grew to communicate better with each other. And, you know, I think the openness would have just helped, you know, him telling her, say, oh yeah, someone, you know, messaged me, you know, just keep it open. So while you're still building that trust, if you haven't yet, you're not thinking the other person's out to get you or do something wrong.
Facts, yep. I agree. I definitely agree. All right, so moving on to Tyler and Ashley. The big drama with them was Tyler revealed he was a sperm donor. And she, you know, was able to accept that. And then news broke of at least the two women that, once again, I didn't see them with Tyler in any pictures, so I didn't believe it. But Tyler spoke about it, saying that he didn't want to get them involved, and it's their relationship is their relationship. And he did explain himself, how it started, how that couple maybe didn't work out, and how he stepped up to be more into a father's role. So I respected him for doing that. Ashley stood right there by his side, supporting him, making sure that the audience knew that she was serious about this relationship, and she's definitely not an idiot. She was not blindsided. She was not misled. Tyler definitely told her in his own way when he found like it was the right time to tell her. So do you have any just overall general thoughts about Tyler and Ashley? Damn.
No, because we have questions.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
So knowing how involved he is in the kid's life, would you still have married him?
That would depend on how the news came out to me, the care and wanting to maintain and mend respect of our relationship and of me as at the time I guess for her fiance. All those things play a role for me because obviously I don't think when I was dating I ever was like, oh, if he got kids then I don't think I ever had that. I know I looked at the age of the kid, like if it was like a 2-year-old, it's like no, I'm good. But it's about how he told her, the honesty, and then of course the amount of attraction and connection you have with the person established already to really decide for yourself if you want to, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think, would I have married him? No. I think as a man perspective, I wouldn't have. Because traditionally we're supposed to be told that we're the provider. So if a woman came to me and then she said she was a surrogate, and she was a surrogate, but then she got involved in the life of the children.
And of the husband after the wife left.
Would it be same sex? Because that changes things. If it's same sex, like it was two husbands, and she was just a surrogate for their kids, then I would trust the relationship more. So I may be cool with it, but I'd also really want to know the finances. Like, how financially are you involved? Because I don't mind seeing kids, but like once you start to say, oh, we can't go out this weekend because,
Becky and Tommy need new shoes for school.
Need braces or something like that. I'm like, yo, we ain't even married, or we ain't even raising these motherfuckers. Like, that would be the determining factor, I think, for me. I think most men, that would be the determining factor. Everybody loves kids, but it's still, you got to start paying for them. That's what it's like, yo, can you relax? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would definitely, if he had based off what he said, if he was not financially involved and they were getting along just fine, then yeah, I would definitely still go through with it. Okay, and is she right to say that the public never considered they were protecting each other?
Yeah, I think that's my question to you.
Damn. Is she right to say that the public never considered that they were protecting each other? I think it's when what do you define as public? Because you got positive and negative comments. You may just see the negative comments more because it's negative.
I mean, she said, like, in seeing everyone's response to, the episodes and yada yada, she was like, you all, like, meaning just like socially, it doesn't matter if they were any good comments or not. Like, it was a majority bad ones, especially to him, victimizing her for being blindsided. So
Gotcha.
for her to come out and say, we were actually protecting each other. That's what I think is that he said in response to my question, seemed like he was lying or dodging the question, is because we still wanted to maintain, a sense of privacy.
Gotcha.
And we weren't going to sit here and unpackage all of it on camera. But by that time, we had already talked about it. We were already good. We were already working through it. Y'all just didn't get, all the details and, fill in the blanks. So,
right.
Is she right to say that social media, public, whatever, you all never considered that we were just protecting each other? You all had it out for him and all felt bad for me and or thought I was stupid.
Well, I think the public enjoys drama. So whether the case that was true or not, I think that based off the evidence that excuse me, that the public currently had at that time, it was, you know, you were just blindsided and an idiot for still trying to go through with it because we knew very little. And once what we were seeing anyway was basically she was asking, she was talking, but he wasn't really actually explaining anything. So to us, it looks crazy because it's like, yo, he's not even telling you the whole full situation of what's going on and you still going through with it. But to her, the cameras could have left and they could have had a 16-hour conversation and they could be texting about it daily. She could have met the mother, met the kids. Like all that could have happened. So, especially within a year. So, you know, because this premiered, last month?
Yeah.
So, or the beginning of this month, like whenever it premiered. So for her, this is all old news. And y'all are getting on, you know, her Instagram saying, "Oh, you're crazy. Why would you marry him?" And she's like, "I'm still married. I'm still happy. I'm now have a relationship with these people." Like this, it makes no sense that you would be, you know, so antagonistic, especially if you see us getting married. Like you didn't see me call it off. So,
well, some people thought AD was an idiot for still going through with Clay because a lot of people thought Clay was a walking red flag, and so for her to like even have gotten dressed and, you know, allowed herself to be, you know, stood up at the altar or whatever some people were saying. They really thought that she was dumb for not seeing how clearly trash Clay is. So, you know.
But you know, I disagree because I like Clay, and I don't think he was trash.
I also like villains.
I don't think he was trash. I think he just had a poor role model. So he doesn't know how to recognize greatness. He doesn't know how to recognize, you know, beauty in some women. And so I think he was explaining that throughout the whole process, that he doesn't really doesn't want to cheat because he doesn't know what will happen in the future, because he probably couldn't understand why, if his mom is so great, why would his dad, he must have found something greater. And it's like, no, your dad's just a weak man. But you don't understand that because he's the one raising you. So he's making it seem like it's a fly shit to do.
At some point, you gotta go therapy, my guy.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. Sometimes you got to get away from the people that, you know, have those kind of mentalities because it will corrupt yours. But to get back to Ashley's situation, if they're basing it off of that, then I guess it's understandable. But once again, you came to a reunion. You were able to explain yourself. Going forward, there should be no doubt and no, oh, I wouldn't stay with him if I was you. Like, no, y'all two are solid. Y'all have nothing to worry about. So, wish you nothing but happiness. Cool. All right, so one of the firecrackers of the night, Ramses and Marissa. So I think everyone, or at least, when did you feel like, yeah, they ain't gonna make it?
When he started talking about how he's used to having more affection, or was it attention, or both? And she was like, well, I'm on my period, I was sick last week, I've been working, I have to commute longer to come back to this apartment. Like, all those things in the kitchen. And he was just kind of talking about how, like, oh, but, you know, I'm used to more affection, yada, yada. And I think that's when the birth control talk came up.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, around that time, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought when she chose him over Bowden because the Leo Cancer, I was like...
Cancer Leo.
That don't sound right. It's probably right, though.
Is any of it? No, it's good.
So when she chose... Like, I know maybe the camera, maybe the editing just framed it that way, but because it looked that way to me, that she was basically choosing this guy over this other guy simply because he was the perfect astrology match, I was like, nah, that never works. Like, choosing somebody solely based off of astrology is because you have a good vibe with them rarely ever works. So yeah, and then when they started to get more into their relationship, and then he spoke about his opinions on the army, or, you know, serving in the military in general, and they kept having that little strife. They kept having that.
I forgot about that. That's when I knew they weren't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the other couple seasons ago, the ones that didn't have sex the entire time on, you know, while they were on the show, because they were so worried. Like, he just seemed like he was so worried about her getting pregnant, and she was like, well, I'm not taking birth control. Them having that conversation ended up working out for them anyway. So I take that back. Yeah, them having that conversation is not what did it. It was that veteran thing. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, some people aren't able to make better choices for themselves in certain circumstances. If I see this as a way to provide for myself, this is a way to be respected in my community and to be honored, then that is the path I'm going to take. Now, it may have been the wrong path, and there may be, oh, you're funding genocide, you're helping them just take over third world countries, and that all can be true, but I'm at this level. I'm not at that level where I can make decisions and, turn tides of wars. I'm at this level, and if I want to feel comfortable and secure about my career, this is the path that I need to take. And I think people shouldn't judge people off of the ways they choose to spend their life. I think that's a weird reason to judge somebody.
Just on someone off their job is crazy in itself to me. It's like that UK couple from that UK Love is Blind season or whatever, and he judged her for being a makeup artist.
Oh, yeah. Because but for him, I would say like a makeup artist doesn't really sound like a real job. Like an event planner is kind of, well, I guess it doesn't want to sound
yeah,
like
that could be job. You just go to parties or you house parties. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. How, vets are obviously not makeup artists. A lot more sacrifice, time, dedication, all those things. Bravery at times too. So it just, you can not support the military and still have someone in your life, friend or otherwise, that was a vet or is a vet or whatever, and still respect them. I just feel like he lost respect for her kind of in that conversation, and it's just like, really?
Yeah.
She's talking about growing up on bases and stuff, and you don't think that naturally, it's like a kid that always goes to baseball games. I grew up and want to go be part of baseball in some way, So it's just like, how are you? And you're like blaming her like she went and single-handedly fought in Iraq and killed a bunch of people. Like, it's just crazy.
I think he's one of those thinking that it's fruit of the poisonous tree. So, like, even though you're not the whole tree, you're still a fruit that was on that tree, so you're just as poison.
But he's not perfect either. Like, how many things does he buy? Like, a lot of fashion is not ethical.
Nobody thinks that through. Nobody thinks what they do is wrong.
It's crazy. Like, he's a fashionista, right? Okay, well, a lot of fashion is not ethical. Ethically sourced. The people that are doing these things are not necessarily paid well. Diamond trade. Like, all those things have their sours and negatives. Right. Tied to some form of genocide or child labor or poor working conditions and goodness, losing my words. What is it? The air, when the air is
air
pollution.
Oh, pollution.
Goodness gracious. Adding to pollution, global warming. I'm sure he uses a smartphone that contains cobalt, and that's farmed over here, and that uses children. Like, you're not clean. None of us, especially in America, where none of us are seen as clean because our taxes fund this stuff, even though we didn't know. We thought we were funding it, public stuff that we get to use eventually, but no. That was all a lie. So he's not, and I'm sure he pays taxes. So again, like, in some way, shape, or form, you are a fruit, you're a seed, you're a leaf, you're a caterpillar on a leaf. It doesn't matter. You're part of that poisonous tree. Yeah. With the rest of us, you're not perfect, you're not pure. So it was just really crazy for him to be so, like, rudely passionate, dissing her for her, at the time, career choice. She's obviously in school now to do a whole different career that's around justice. For her, joining the military might have been another form of service of justice. Like, correct. So it's just like, make it make sense. But he can't. Because,
All right. Well, since he can't make it make sense, did he at least end it correctly?
He ended it in the right time. I don't think he ended it correctly. I'm glad, as her mom said, very maturely. I was quite surprised. I thought it was going to be a little bit of like a Bad Girls Club reunion.
Right, yeah.
But no, she was just like, I'm thankful that he cut it off before they got married, before the legal papers were signed, like all of that. So yeah, he ended it in a timely manner, but I don't think he ended it correctly, because it's like, you knew the things that you were at least saying were your reason. You've been known, and you were just trying to keep making it work instead of voicing to her your doubts sooner. or anything like that. And for him to, what was it? Didn't he say like it was cool when we were on vacation, but when we got back and the work started to come in, it was just harder because he wanted more of his own space or something like that. He was like going so roundabout as well,
I think so,
talking in circles just to get to the point of just saying you're too much for me. But instead, it was like this whole conversation of like, I don't know. I just feel like everyone looking at it was just like, about what? What about? Wait, what are you saying? What? Like,
yeah, I think he was just saying you're too, not happy but excited. You're too high energy. You're too
high energy.
Yeah, like I need you to be more relaxed, more nonchalant. You're too serious as well, maybe because you have a career and he didn't. I think he was like a project coordinator or something like that.
That could have been his.
So, I mean, I think there's.
She was in school too, so she was. What she was? Yeah. Is she?
Either way.
Either way.
Yeah, like I said, I saw it in the pods after that question. I think she had a more connection with Bowden. I think he was also ex-military.
He
if
was
I'm not mistaken,
and had the same energy, and she was, you know, happy that goodness, Ramsey's energy was lower to hopefully balance her out. Maybe that would have been a better connection as long as Bodhi could have been serious when it was time to be serious. You know, he wasn't like overly jovial every time of the day, and there was a sense of protectiveness or seriousness or immaturity about Bodhi. I think they would have made it just fine. But no, Ramsey's, I don't know. Like, I get people wanting to like, do you agree with that notion of like wanting to date someone who's the opposite energy type as you? Like, I can see you as a high energy woman, like a Marissa.
Yeah, I want to say no. I mean, it depends on what you mean by opposites, I guess.
I mean, you're not low energy. Like, you know me, I'm a bit of an Eeyore. So I don't get too excitable.
But I'm not super optimistic, peppy. So I just don't carry that high energy, but I have that high expectation and that positive energy, I think. Just because I don't speak like, oh, I'm super happy, blah, blah, blah. Like that, I still have that positive energy. I just don't express it that way. So I think if we're getting on that level, it's more of how she expresses her energy is what he didn't like. Like, she could be positive, but but she just like expressed it too
the package was very like high vibration, like excited.
So yeah,
I positive all day, but you were excited.
So that's how I would explain his issue with it, because you can be a positive person without having that much energy. So yeah, I definitely think that they try. You know, they both showed who they really were as a person, and Marissa was willing to make it work. It was just Ramses who, because he had already went through that divorce, he was like, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, he already seemed like he needed to do some, I keep saying therapy, but therapy or some type of work through from that marriage, kind of get that figured out as to why it ended for them and where he could have been better, what she didn't do for him that he needed. So he knows to look for that in the next relationship. Like, and obviously the whole concept of the time that they have together before they must commit is obviously a little daunting to actually force people. Like, some people get married in a month of knowing each other. Those stories exist plenty of times, but for it to kind of be this pressure and this literal show of you met, get married. Like, all of those things I can see definitely playing a part in nervousness or like feeling like I don't fully trust this person, but I also don't fully trust them because I haven't known them for more than like 2 weeks or whatever. And it's like all these doubts because it's like speed train to the altar. Instead of it being your choice that you're in a whirlwind romance and you just connect and that just works. Like, you don't have time. Either you're going to do it or you're not. Everybody has a camera in your face wanting to know you're going to do it or not. Yeah, the pressure, I'm sure, did not help, but it did seem like he could use a little bit of healing from his divorce, or at least a little bit more of a confidence of being a divorced man, instead of making it seem like, yeah, I was married before. Like, he's kind of having like, yeah, I was married before. this happened a little bit, and I'm better for it. Kind of having that more of a, I did it, it wasn't for me, whoops, but I'm ready for who I know is my person. Like that would carry a lot differently than you kind of just being like, yeah, and then keep wallowing in the fact that you're like, I don't know, I was married before, I've been through, I don't want to get divorced again, I don't want to get divorced again. It's giving, you're panicky about it. You're not stable about that topic.
Right. Well, he didn't have that much faith in their love at the end of the day.
He said, he said there has to be more than love.
Right.
And so she was like, is that
because
what
I
you
don't
have?
have that much faith in our love. I need more. That's pretty
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, I guess we spent a little too much time on that. Fuck him. I mean, sorry. Fuck Ramses. Well, no, Marissa was kind of acting wild towards Nick, but we'll get to that. Right now, as a matter of fact. Okay, so Nick and Hannah was definitely the next couple. It seemed like it was doomed from the moment they met. Hannah just, I'm not saying she changed her personality, but I feel like she changed her energy towards him. And because maybe she didn't find him as attractive as everybody else, she made it. And I mean, everybody else, like, people find Nick attractive. So, like, the woman that rode the ducks with him could have found him attractive. Katie, when they met at the bar or whatever, could have found him attractive. So, because she didn't find him attractive, she was projecting like there must be something else wrong with him. Because
I'll be shallow if I
say I don't like his looks when everybody else seems to be fine with it. So I think that going with that mentality after they met is kind of what doomed him. I'm not saying Nick, I don't really know what he possibly could have did wrong. If you're single and you work a lot, I mean, if you're comfortable at your parents' house, I see no reason to move. Now, if you got a girl, facts. If you got a girlfriend, if you've been with for 3 to 4 months and y'all are ready to move in together, and you're like, nah, I'm just gonna stay at home because I just love my mom's cooking. That might be a little wild, but first starting out, wasn't he like 28?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, people live in their house way longer than that. And once again, the cost of living is in this economy. Like, you literally wasting money wasting money on rent when there's no need for you to live by yourself. So, I really didn't see anything wrong with his character, anything wrong with his personality. I think this was Hannah's demise. I think if she was going for that social media villain, she nailed it. She seems more delusional than a villain, though, because like you can not like something, you could be blunt, you could be brutally honest, you can do all that, but it has to make sense, in my opinion. And I felt like most of the things that she was harping on and she was mad at, and why I had to move out when I was 18 and take care of myself, blah blah blah. You still living at home, so you don't know anything about life, and
we're stocks, like
okay, that's something you can learn. You understand it doesn't matter when you learn it. It's something you can still learn, and you can actually learn it faster when you're older than when you're younger. So I don't have to make the same mistakes you made at 18 because you now know at whatever age you are that, oh, well, this is the exact path to get to exactly where you want to be. So you could help the relationship that way, but
she felt it was a burden to help him. So
yeah. So I would say, okay, so your first question, right? This is your question? Oh, thank God. All right, I'm going to start asking because I can't remember. It was only last night. That's crazy. So, do you think she really worked on herself? I believe she worked on her physical. She could have said, because I was a bigger girl, people thought that...
Barely. But yeah.
But people thought that Nick... maybe wouldn't have liked me because I was bigger, and that's why I can't get a man that I really want. So she worked on her physicality. And now, don't get me wrong, if I did not know you at all, if I did not see Love is Blind, and I just was walking past you on the street, I was like, damn, you attractive. Damn, you pretty. No shame. Like, no, you definitely did your job. You definitely accomplished that. But then when you start to talk to you, get a sense of your personality, get a sense of your demeanor, it's like, you are ugly, yo. You are just like, God damn. What's the nigga's name? Hunchback. What's his name? Quasimodo. You like Quasimodo on the inside, yo. It's like, that's crazy. But, you know, you got a heart of gold on the outside. So, you know, works both ways.
Looks like it on the outside.
So, yes, I would say she worked on herself physically, but her mentality is still the exact same, if not more blown out of proportion. What do you think?
I agree. She said that she worked on herself in all these avenues, and it seems like all you did was lose some weight and put some extensions in your hair. I didn't see any personal growth. You know, you even admitted to being mean to him. You tried to use that as a reason for, you know, who Nick is. It's like, why are you being nice? It makes no sense. I was mean to you. And it's like, it wasn't out of an apology. It was just frustrated that he wasn't a bigger bully, or he didn't. I don't know what she wanted. It was just weird. It's like, you knew
well,
you were
she was
being...
saying that he was being fake. Like, he's giving her all this praise, but yet he's liking comments when they're dissing her. Like, why are you trying to make it seem like you did nothing wrong in the situation when you wanted to be the most famous person? Your note wanted to be the most famous person.
Her notes.
No, but his note was, I want to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. And when we were going to break up, you wanted to talk about it first off camera and try to end it amicably instead of being on camera trying to be messy. Like, why are you doing all these underhanded behind the scenes things, then coming out in public and acting like you didn't do nothing? That was her stance.
I don't know. She just likes to point fingers. So many things with Hannah. I'm really trying not to, you know, go as deep and as far as I could go, because it's just like, bam, you had no argument, you had no leg to stand on. Either that man called you a grenade, he still came out that pod with you, talked to you, loved you, tried to do his best. You didn't think he was all that in a bag of chips either when you saw him. And then also you brought on your own insecurities, like for you to say that you felt like you were bigger than him, and then that getting in your mind and diminishing his attractiveness for that reason. On like, you brought in your insecurities, and to say that Nick is why she was insecure or whatever. And it's like, you're insecure about yourself, or at least you were, and you're insecure about the relationship. But that's still not Nick's problem. Because he was doing everything foreseeably right. And every time we saw you, you were just constantly boying to a man, you don't know anything, and just belittling him. Even your best friend had to sit there and say at dinner, yeah, she just does that. And then when you try to fire something back, she makes it seem like it was the worst thing someone could ever say to somebody. Yep. So like, you dish it out, you can't even take it.
Facts.
But all this, I'm direct, I'm honest,
I'm blind. Yep.
And then on top of that, it's like, you're not honest. You're so blinded by your own feelings and your own perceptions that you've made it up. And I feel like so have some of the other single women on that stage. It's like, if you saw it, how you saw it is the truth. There is no room for anyone to have a side or a story, half the truth and you get the other half. Like, it was just so close-minded and immature for her to just be like, that's my truth, therefore you shut up, because nothing you say matters, because I just said what the truth was, because that's what I experienced. And it's like, your facts aren't feelings, ma'am. No one's is. Our feelings aren't facts. Like, no one's feelings are facts. And same goes for you. You could be wrong. You could be honest and also a bit of a troll. Like, yeah.
So you gotta admit that.
You gotta admit that, though. And actually work on it.
If you want to fix yourself.
But you don't seem to think that anything's wrong with you.
So can you grow as a person without self-accountability?
No.
Just flat out no. You can acquire more things, but you as a person will not actually do anything new. You still have that same energy, still have the same chaos.
She can with financially, I'm sure, but personal character-wise, no. You're not sorry for how you talk to him. I think she might have said it once on I can't remember. But it wasn't, even if you said sorry in the middle of all that chaos, that apology is like null and void in my opinion at that point, because it's like saying but after something. It's like, okay, well that just
nullified everything.
So no, she said she was self-aware and selfish is not a good combination to be. So even if you know you're mean, I'm sure bullies know they're mean too when they're punching kids in the face in the middle of the hallway. I'm sure they don't think that they're a good person for doing that. So it's like, and your ass still single. So just sometimes it's good to look inward.
That's true.
Don't be afraid to look in
there. She might not want to be the, realize the person she actually is. Might scare her. But okay, moving on to Leo and Brittany. They were definitely the most interesting couple that we definitely wanted to see go to. Where'd they go? Mexico?
Miami.
No. Where'd the cast go?
Cabo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then Leo and Brittany just went to do their thing in Miami. So I, was very vocal about rooting for Brittany to take all of Leo's money. I think somebody like Brittany, has she been...
Eat the rich.
Yeah, like tax the rich. Matter of fact, you ain't got to take all his money. Just make him pay for the woman that he wants. If he wants a woman to... I can't even remember what most of the stupid shit he was saying, but... be that woman for him and rob the shit out of him. That's what I wanted to see happen, but I think Brittany had better morals, so she was like, I'm not dealing with this man. And that's one of the main things that I want to talk about, because we watch Pop the Balloon and we don't see money doing what it once did. And I'm like, in this economy? Like, yeah, like money does not keep women anymore. Like, you can't just talk to them or treat them any kind of way and then think they're going to stay around because you just got money. I think that's a very interesting dialect that you will see sometime soon. But moving back, so how come Hannah didn't drag Leo?
That was my question.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I didn't know that. So they had obviously a 3-way triangle going on between, I guess 4-way with Nick. But Hannah and Leo ended because Hannah chose Nick. And then Leo kind of freaked out about it. And so now...
Find a good word for me.
So
I'm leaving here with something. Put a good word in for me with Brittany.
Yeah, appreciate that. Because we're just friends now, right? And it was her the whole time. So I think probably the reason she didn't drag Leo is because same way she wanted to hang out with Nick a month later is, I think, the same way her and Leo probably are in some type of contact. So, matter of fact, they are. There was a reel I sent you with Leo, Brittany, and Hannah.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah. So yeah, they're okay. They're clearly in contact. So she doesn't need to ever talk to Nick. She don't need to care about Nick. She's already shown that time and time again as each episode went on. But I think if she still wants a close relationship with Leo, she's not going to, go full throttle and be her blunt and honest self. So I think that was definitely the reason why that didn't happen. You have any thoughts?
No, I mean, I guess she just wasn't as affected by Leo, being that she spent her experiment time with Nick, left with Nick, was supposed to get married to Nick. So I guess she had more ammunition / emotion to, shoot at Nick at the reunion, because she was all smiles and giggles and hee laughing along when it was Leo talking. And it's like, Leo, I mean, he apologized and that's cool. Like, he's already shown he's not who he didn't present himself very well, basically. Right. So he's already admitted that. That's cool, whatever. But it's like, he still played in your face, Hannah. He still played in your face. You didn't feel like you needed to address anything with him, but you pulled everything out of your ass when it came to trying to bury Nick while still making yourself look absolutely crazy. But so yeah, I guess, like I said, she just spent more time with Nick and I guess had more ammunition for that situation. And then, of course, they seemed to have found a way to make a friendship with Leo. So I guess that's why they didn't snap at each other or her not question Leo a little more intently. So not saying he deserved it, but she just, I don't know. She just, yeah.
Okay.
Her and Marissa were just they were just acting a fool. Was not a good look for either one of those ladies at all.
Hey, they feel like they're speaking their truth and they're speaking up for women that has to go through that things with men every day. And I would agree that there are women out there that are just like y'all. So they do have an audience. I definitely think there's more women like them. So they are definitely going to be the poster childs for that kind of male treatment that they received.
Yeah.
So do you think he pays to keep in contact with now Hannah and Brittany? Do you think he has to, fly them wherever he is, or does he have to like pay for the room or anything like that? Or do you think it's all mutual friendship?
Probably, I don't know if it's like purely mutual or purely like organic friendship, I guess.
Okay.
They're all making reels and TikToks and like keeping up their social media, which is understandable. As soon as you go viral or as soon as you gain enough public attention, like if you want to try and hop on that influencer train and get paid to be you, you better jump on it when you can. So it's understandable that they're all hanging out like that and it has to be on camera and it has to be trendy sounds and audio and all of that. So I don't know if they're truly friends because they're truly friends, or is it kind of like, I don't know, I feel like an influencer house where it's like, yeah, we're friends. And it's like, I'm sure there's about half the people here you don't really like, do you? Like, you know what I mean? But you're all trying to ride the boat together. So, who knows? Maybe.
Okay, so Steven and Monica, they definitely had...
I'm just kidding.
That's funny. They definitely had a very interesting relationship. Prior to them actually breaking up because of the basically cheating, emotional cheating, as it's called nowadays. Did you see them making it? Okay.
Not saying that Monica is high maintenance. She just gives off that air of being high maintenance in particular. And I don't know too many dudes that are like super into the whole kind of being nagged and bossed around, especially so soon in the relationship.
Right.
So no, I didn't think. He seemed like hypersexual and like...
Yeah, because she kept saying how he was always poking her. Yeah.
Hypersexual, goofy. A little more fun-loving, a little more, which I think is great or good when adults have a little bit of, keep that childlike energy in there somewhere. We gotta keep a little vial of it for when we are acting a little too old, but when the stress hits. But so I think that was cool about him. I feel like if she allowed it and there's more time that had gone for them, he could have maybe rubbed off on her and she could have been a little bit more loose. Again, don't know none of these people personally to know if she is or isn't, but every time we guys see her, she seems very like serious.
Yeah. I think high maintenance is the hammer on the nail. She definitely gives off very, I need things to be done a certain way energy. And I think Steven is more of a fun-loving, more relaxed, more sexually,
charged person,
exactly. So I think I thought they were going to make it in the pods. Even after they met, I didn't see, especially with him being, what was he, Nigerian?
So I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so like, especially with that little thing, like that was a cute kind of bond that they shared. And, she always talked him up, even when they were on vacation. She was talking him up to other people. So I thought as they got to know each other more, that's when you started to see the cracks and to see oh no, that's how he really is. Oh, that's how she really is. Which could just bring us to their ending. So it ended basically because he was at a sleep test texting another woman about sexual fetishes. And as he stated himself on the reunion, he only got he was talking about her about a heart condition. She changed the subject to sexual fetishes. He just went along with it. And because he doesn't have a lock on his phone, he didn't really think to delete the messages. It could be because obviously this is Love is Blind. This is a very new space to be in. So you aren't going to just start changing immediately because it's going to make you look guilty. So he was cool with just letting the messages be there. So he apologized profusely. He said, "Does it even matter?"
He wrote a letter.
He wrote a letter, and then Monica got upset because he brought it up that he wrote the letter to her dad expressing his sorrow, and he only did it for clout. And his kind of defense was, "They ain't not gonna believe me either way, so what the fuck is the point of this?" And I agreed. It was like, once again, I think the audience has to keep in mind this is a year removed from when you're currently seeing it. So these people had plenty of time to get over it, plenty of time to not have to reflect on it. These are all emotions that y'all brought back with putting it on social media and investigating everybody and things of that nature. So I think it's a real hard situation to be in when you're new to the limelight, you're new to the situation, you're new to this newfound fame. So even if it's only 15 minutes, even if you're forgot about a month or two from now, that month that it did happen is going to burn hot. And it's going to feel like you're on fire for that whole month. But anyway, moving on. So, once a cheater, always a cheater? Oh, thank you. Okay, so, no, I don't think so. I think that, because like once a good girl, always a good girl. You know what I mean? Like I think that a cheater who has gotten over the cheating hump will not have a problem explaining to you why they were cheating in the first place. So I think if someone comes with honesty about them being a cheater and they give you that reassurance of, you can look at my phone whenever you feel uncomfortable, you can, track my location, you can have pretty much 100% access to me whenever you need it, so you feel more reassured and more comforted. I think, they definitely wouldn't be looked at as a cheater anymore. They'd be looked at as somebody that grew out of that immature way. So I would definitely say no. That to answer that question is no. I don't think once a cheater, always a cheater. What about yourself?
No, I believe people can change. I don't think cheating is like an addiction where the person will always have to fight, unless somehow they do have some type of cheating addiction, which seems like that would just be like compulsive lying or something. I don't know. Yeah. But otherwise, in a normal span, no, I think people can change. I think they brought up wondering if she felt it was like a red flag when he brought it up at the pods about him previously cheating. And she received it like, "Oh, thanks for letting me know," and having that open communication, like that's a plus. And now looking back, did she feel like, oh, I think she said it was like a yellow flag or something. I think,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think people can change. Obviously, I'm not sure how soon it was from his last relationship where that happened to them getting together. If enough time passed, if enough work had been done between those points. I don't know if that was even asked on her part to confirm this dude wasn't just trying to, be suave and be like, "Yeah, I cheated before, I was a dirtbag." And it's like, "Wow, you're so honest." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She inquired more about what he's done to, like, remove himself from that way of life. But I think he can improve. Yeah. Weird situation. I'm glad they had pictures of him at the sleep study.
Yeah.
Because that was a wild story to watch, just edited the way it was.
Because it said he was drunk at it too.
Drunk at the sleep study. And
texting her? I'm like, what? That just sounds highly impossible. Like, that does not sound like a logical story at all. I agree.
You shouldn't even be drunk at a sleep study, right? Like, you're supposed to be able to monitor you on a normal anyway. But, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, I agree. Okay,
yeah.
So do some, damn, I can't even talk, shouldn't I hit that, blunt. All right, do some people only apologize because they got caught?
Of course.
Damn. So, can you still be remorseful if you got caught?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think so. Because if you, depending on how you were holding that secret or information anyway, you could have just felt so embarrassed or something, and that's why you didn't confess it or whatever. So when it comes out, like they find it out or someone else brings it out into the light, of course that person can still feel very, very bad, because it's just like, I was trying to do everything else. It was just like, sometimes like forming the words maybe it's just hard. Already feeling guilty about it and telling yourself, I'm never doing that again. I'm so mad at myself. And thinking that would be enough, you just move forward, the right way. And then it comes out and it's like, now it looks like I lied, or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
But I do think a lot of people, though, will, in a different context, I guess, will not apologize until they're figured out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
I agree. All right, cool.
Those people, I feel like, are more like trying to hold on to a secret on purpose versus just feeling eaten up and ashamed by it. And it gets forced out that way versus they were just doing everything in their absolute power to make sure that never saw the light of day, and then someone did it and they just kind of were like, fuck. All right, take me in.
Okay. Cool. All right, so moving on to Alex and Tim. I think the biggest drama of the season. I think they had the most potential with the most surprising end. Damn, they bored you?
No.
Oh. Yeah, I guess the first question we could start with was, whose fault is it really? I believe it was mutual, but if I had to assign the blame, I would probably put the blame on Alex. I think Tim grew up very conservative and very, you are a black man in a white society. If you don't command respect, no one is going to respect you. If you can't even get respect from your woman, no man is ever going to respect you. So I think for him wanting a wife, his wife has to be...
Is it loud? Okay.
For him... Yeah, you saw what I'm saying about respect now. For him wanting to proceed in marriage with a woman, he needs to actually feel like he has that respect. So he doesn't need to be called outside of his name. He doesn't need a woman that's gonna go sleep after she talked with, his parents. He don't need that. He needs a woman that's gonna stand up and show what a strong black woman can be. And I think he didn't get that or see that in Alex, which is what ultimately led to their split. What about you?
That wasn't her partner? Just kidding.
Hey.
Just a theory.
I would have been, I think I would have been one of them niggas that like, all right, I'll help you clean up. Like, I like, if I love you, I will help you become a better you. Like, at period. At the end of the day, I will always help you become the best version of you that you could be. So I would definitely try to pitch in and help out with that. But yeah, that could have definitely been a huge blow. That was like, and you messy, you don't even clean. Like, so you are definitely not a traditional, wife. You're definitely not a traditional woman in his eyes, anyway. So
yeah, I don't know if he needed a traditional as much as he seemed like he was really, at least based on his argument at the reunion, he really just wanted someone who was going to show up for him the way that he shows up for that person. And so a big thing of his was like, I went to the grocery store early that day. I bought all these meat and food to feed 6 grown-ass adults. I cooked it. I came in, I wooed, I had my sentiments, I had my letter, I had all this intention, and then my turn comes around and you're just like, and no lie, like when she did meet his parents, it didn't seem like a first meeting. Like it was very, not somber, but just very casual with no, like with every other person is like either like this like heightened of nerves, or it's like this excitement of like, hi, it's like, oh my god, you, like there was just none of that. It was like she had been there before, and they just were like, oh, we weren't rolling. Yeah, can we start? Can we reset? You know, it was just like.
So you don't think that
she didn't have any energy? Honestly, I didn't.
So you don't think that plays into a traditional woman?
Like, I mean, excitement when meeting his parents.
Yeah, like showing that I'm excited to be with this man, showing that this is the best man I could ever find in my life. Like those, I think, are qualities of a traditional woman that supports their man.
I guess. That seems almost a little. For me, it just seems like almost a little too specific to be. I mean, present yourself well.
Right.
And be respectful.
Act like you want to be there.
I don't know if that's traditional or not. I don't think that's the traditional role or not, to act like you want to be there.
Well, you're just perfect.
But no, like, I thought that when I saw the episode, I was like, what's going on? Like, I thought it was going to be like a really serious kind of negative tone conversation, because everyone's tone was pretty like, I know I loved him, and they had like their little moments. So it was like, oh yeah, that's right, he called him Drake, so they were communicating, even though she did not sound like Marissa. High energy and like, yeah.
Right.
They still talk. They still have little laughs and stuff like that. But I do think, because did she walk in with flowers? I can't remember if she walked in with flowers or wine or anything.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I just
remember sitting them down at the couch.
Like still with her jacket on, I think. I'm probably remembering this all wrong. But it just seemed, all I can envision is her walking with her hands in her pockets and like a jacket. And they just kind of like did the little thing and sat down on the couch. And everybody just seemed fucking sleepy to me. But like everyone seemed a little sleepy. But yeah.
Says the lady that was just yawning. Maybe that's why.
It's according to her, she had to work again that night.
Yes.
She hadn't slept, and according to him, well, actually, you went to the club at 4 a.m. and then came back at 4 a.m. And according to her, that's not true. And then like
back and forth, yeah.
Back and forth. I don't know. I think even before the apartment, though, and jokingly, I think it was whatever interaction they had at the hotel.
Oh, when he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think Alex was being all the single women on that stage, except for Brittany, was just like catty, immature sounding.
No, not Taylor. She wasn't.
She wasn't single.
Oh, yeah, just a single woman. My bad.
Yeah, just a single one. Like Alex was just like, oh, he's just talking in circles. It's like, no, he sounds like he's just voicing his part. None of those women wanted to hear the man speak. It was crazy. It was like, can I talk? It's like, you've been interrupting me while I'm trying to talk. Like, but yeah. So they both weren't met on that. The communication was not there. In Tim's defense, I do agree. She should do a lot more for his parents. Like, if he went and did that, no one's saying you gotta go tit for tat. But in the beginning, you do need to show the same initiative in your actions so that you can better establish your connection and your relationship. It should never be one-sided. So if that's literally all she brought was herself and sat down sleepily on their couch after they drove or flew or whatever to be there, and there wasn't enough fanfare, or she didn't buy catering or do something to show more on the same level that you did, not a letter, not a thank you for having, making this man. If she had none of that prepared,
right.
Because she seemed like she doesn't have any sentimental. She wore the bracelet that your sister had and you gave to her, and she seemed like she knew how to be mindful and sweet. But I guess, like we were saying way before, the real world set in when you left Cabo, came and you had to start working and kind of moving the two shifts in the night. So a lot of things. So I think they're just both their fault. I think they both suck at communicating. They seem like they both the type to shut down and then be curt when someone is trying to still engage them in conversation after they've already shut down.
Right.
So y'all just not together.
Okay, so going back to Cabo, the reason he did leave the room, as what we found out, was he was being called. He called a little bitch. I forgot exactly what she said.
You're acting like a little bitch.
You're acting like a little bitch. So then that brings it to my question: is being called out your name disrespectful?
Yeah. I feel like it's always near that. you can. It's also the tone. It's this tone and everything is tonal and situational, in my opinion. Like, no, a white person can't call me nigga at any given point and think I'm gonna be like, ha ha. No, not the one. But
I am apparently at that Waffle House store. Anyway,
that was. But like, if I was the type to be like, if we were playing a game or something and you were like losing. And you were like, screw this game. And I was like, acting like a little bitch. Obviously it's like all in fun. I wouldn't call him a bitch. But for that situation, in the midst of him getting more heightened in his emotion, trying to figure out what's wrong with you, you're acting like he's the enemy. He's like, what the fuck? Or whatever that was. And then for you to come out and be like, you acting like a little bitch. And it's like, okay, that's rude. Like, we're not joking around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you. I think I'm on a different wavelength with that. Whereas I am, do I respect myself first? Like, that's how I think. Like, do I respect myself? Do I respect who I am as a person? And once I learned how to do that, I learned that it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as I respect myself, I respect my value, and I respect my worth, you calling me out my name is not going to change that about me. So, even if we were in the midst of a huge argument and you were like, well, you're acting like a little bitch, I'd probably just, okay, does that make you feel better? Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like, calling somebody out their name is only used to hurt that other person. It's not used to, further the conversation, to understand each other better, to actually get to a healthy point.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's used simply for that. So you calling me a bitch is not going to have me respond in a negative way. It's going to let me know that you are now getting past the point that you don't give a fuck about boundaries. So if I respect you as a person and I respect myself as a person, then it's on me to de-escalate the situation.
Mr. Big Person High Road over here.
I mean, it's things you got to think through when you're calm, but a lot of people aren't able to get calm in stressful situations. So that's why things escalate, because one person gets stressed and then the other person gets stressed and they just build on that stress. So someone in the situation has to be calm and has to think things through.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, so I think, is being called out your name disrespectful? Yes. But does that mean you now have permission to be just as disrespectful? No.
Sometimes.
I think you should respect people as much as you respect yourself. And if you value yourself, then you're going to value people, and you're also going to give them grace and empathy to understand that they're actually just frustrated at the situation and not at you personally.
I mean, I know how to use that in situations where it's like, I'm on the phone with a customer. Right. Obviously can't call them out their name, you know what I mean? Right. They probably called me out mine, gotta keep their professionalism. If it's someone that I love, who I also know loves me, I'm not gonna take it as disrespect, as you said. But if it's like a stranger, no, it's not gonna change me, and not every reaction will I be this grandeur reaction of like, you called me, what? Like, anybody got time? I don't have the energy to respond that much. But of course, it's like, I would think, oh, you just disrespected me. Period. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know you. I don't know your intentions. You owe me nothing. I owe you nothing. So what else could this be other than you calling me out my name to disrespect me?
Right.
So I'm going to take it at face value. And no longer will I respect you. There you go. Like, but if it's like I said, if it's someone I love, we can work through it.
You'll allow grace and empathy. Grace and
empathy for love and professionalism, in the sense of, I'm on the clock and this call is recorded. Then yes. Any other time, though.
Okay. And with that being said, that was the Love is Blind reunion. That was a very interesting, quick season. The next one is coming in. Drawn out for no reason. Yeah, that's that meme that I saw where everybody was skipping the wedding. And they got married? Yep. All right. They got married? Yep. All right. That was pretty funny. I hope they do switch up the format a little. Maybe make some improvements, some adjustments. Get better with their assessments. I think that now is the time that most people are starting to pivot from traditional 9-to-5s and wanting to move into social media. And they don't care how they get into that social media to be able to build a platform. So some of these people that come on are literally just looking to build their brand. I'm not saying they should be weeded out because they're gonna make you great content, or not great content, but they will make content. But if you are a show trying to hold to that traditional value that love is blind, then I feel like you should be looking for people who hold that value as well. And that being said, we out.